Hello everyone, this is Brett and thank you for tuning into today's video. Happy New Year. This is going to be my picks for the 10 best albums of 2024. I'm going to mention three songs from each of these records. They will be compiled in a playlist which will be linked down in the description below. So let's jump right in. At number 10, this is Interior Spring, the sophomore album from Topographies. If you watched my mid-year list, this was definitely on there. San Francisco post-punk band featuring Gray Tolhurst, the son of the former member of The Cure, Lowell Tolhurst. Soaring synths, melodic single-note guitar lines, electronic drums, catchy melodies, solid from beginning to end. If you're a fan of early Cure, we're talking 17 Seconds, Faith, Charlotte Sometimes, right in that sweet spot. A modern band, Cold Cave with the Chameleons. I think you'll really dig Topographies. Three favorite songs are Chain of Days, Cleanse, and Night Sea. Next up at number 9, this was my number 1 pick for my mid-year list. This is the debut album from Whitelands. The album is called Nightbound Eyes Are Blind to the Day. UK shoegaze dream pop band. If you're looking for a lesser known band to get into and kind of track them from the beginning of the career, check out Whitelands. Three favorite songs: Born in Understanding, Tell Me About It, which features another recent favorite featuring the singer of the band, Deary. And one of my favorite songs of this year is The Prophet and I. This is Whitelands in at number 9. So much great pop music was released in 2024, and my number 8 pick is Short and Sweet from Sabrina Carpenter. It's actually her 6th album. She's only 25 years old, and was a major breakthrough this year for her. It's a fun ride, lots of clever lyrics, catchphrases. I tend to these days not watch many music videos, but the one for the song Taste is super entertaining. Three favorites: number 3, Dumb and Poetic, number 2, Juno, and number 1 is the song Taste. Sabrina Carpenter is number 8. Number 7, the latest albums from one of my favorite bands of all time, that is James. This is the album Yummy. Tim Booth, one of the greatest voices in the history of music, in my opinion, is so on point. It's always a treat to hear Andy Diagram's trumpet playing. And they also released a companion album called Pudding this year as well, which collects the album's outtakes, but honestly is a solid album in its own right. So number 7 for me is combined Yummy and Pudding, Yummy Pudding. My 3 favorite songs on this one is Mobile God, which is on Yummy, is a look at how electronic devices have just taken over our lives. Number 2, Way Over Your Head, great song, but my number 1 appeared on Pudding, and that is the song called Won't Be the Same. Absolutely beautiful. Tim's vocal phrasing feels slightly behind the beat, distant, emotional, and the chorus is just heavenly. So in at number 7 is the Manchester band James with Yummy and Pudding. Number 6, another one that appeared on my mid-year list. This is the latest album from the UK band Modern English. This is called 1, 2, 3, 4. Their 9th studio album overall and their first one in 8 years. This came out in the very beginning of 2024, and its shine has not worn off. If you only know I Melt With You from Modern English from way back in 1982, definitely check out what these guys are doing now, because this album is absolutely fantastic. 3 favorite songs: Not My Leader, number 2, Not Fake, and I Know Your Soul, which is one of my most played songs of the year and one of my absolute favorites of 2024. Number 6, Modern English, 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5, one of the best bands on the planet, in my opinion, and one of the most consistent discographies, as displayed on their new record, Unbroken. This is the UK band New Model Army, their 15th studio album. I've seen them live several times over the years. My own band has supported them on 3 occasions. If you've never heard of New Model Army, the new album is actually a pretty great place to start. Always hard to put them in any type of category, but I would recommend that. I recommend them if you're fans of even like Bruce Springsteen, The Clash, U2, The Mission, and once again, we'll throw the Chameleons out there. Language is my third pick. Number 2, Coming or Going. And my number 1 pick from Unbroken is the song First Summer After. New Model Army, Unbroken in at number 5. Number 4, this is Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds with Wild God. I love the last 2 Nick Cave records. They're somber minimalism, Skeleton Tree, Ghosting, but it's also nice to have this more collective kind of joyous album. The song Joy immediately got under my skin and was an immediate favorite. The call and response lyrical couplets are kind of like a blues, but not sounding bluesy at all. The music backdrop is filled with what sounds like a distant French horn, piano, bubbling synth, and high register bass guitar and melodic counterpoint. We've all had too much sorrow. Now is the time for joy. It's goosebumps. Frogs. I love the line about Christopherson walking by, kicking a can in a shirt that hasn't been washed in years. Over the last 12 or so years, I think Nick Cave has been releasing some of the best albums of his entire career. 3 favorites, Cinnamon Horses, and the 2 I already kind of referred to, Frogs, and my absolute favorite is Joy. This is Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds with Wild God in at number 4. Number 3, the album it just seems like everyone has been talking about. This is The Cure with Songs of a Lost World. Their first record in 16 years. Regular viewers are probably aware of the existence of the recent Cure ranking video that me and my friends put out a month or so ago, where we ranked the entire catalog, and then a separate video part 2 collected our 10 favorite non-album tracks. It's like a 4 to 5 hour viewing. Highly recommend it if you really want to get into a real deep dive with a bunch of Cure nerds. So their new album, I think, is absolutely fantastic. And while The Cure has not gone away by any means over the last 16 years, constantly touring, it's always incredibly difficult for a band to not put out a new album in such a long duration and then have one come out that stands up alongside their best work. And The Cure definitely did that. My 3 favorite songs on this one, the opening track Alone is absolutely stellar. The closing song on this one, End Song, with its 7-minute intro before the vocals come in, is just epic. But my absolute favorite song on this one is the second song, And Nothing Is Forever. It's just super, super emotional. So number 3, The Cure with Songs of a Lost World. Number 2, this is the 5th album, and it's probably my favorite one of their catalog now. This is the UK band Desperate Journalist. This is their album called No Hero. Huge choruses just come from out of nowhere. It's difficult to choose favorites. Afraid is glorious. I love you, and it's hard for me to say. Comfort is gold. You are not your memories. You don't have to fly into the sun. You can find comfort just like anyone. Unsympathetic with that repetitive one-word chorus and how the vocal melody interacts when the chord changes behind it is just mesmerizing. Another one of my absolute favorite songs of the year. So 3 songs, as I mentioned: Comfort, Afraid, Unsympathetic, parts 1 and 2. Desperate Journalist, if you've never heard them, a great place to start with their new record, No Hero. All right, so now what's my number 1? You guys were probably thinking The Cure was going to be my number 1. But my actual number 1 pick of this year is the new album from Gavin Friday, Echo Homo. This is, Gavin Friday was the former frontman of the Irish, completely undescribable band, the Virgin Prunes, who has been a favorite of mine since I was a teenager. This is his 5th solo album and his first one in 13 years. It's co-produced by Dave Ball from Soft Cell. He had worked with them back on the Virgin Prunes' second album, The Moon Looked Down and Laughed. I started out on this one with the vinyl version, and I ended up swapping it out for the CD version because there are 5 bonus tracks on the CD version and digital. that are absolutely essential. And in fact, as I mentioned, my absolute favorite one is one of the bonus tracks. It's orchestral, dancey, with that unmistakable, smoky croon of Gavin Friday. There are moments where you get that kind of Wild Prunes vocal that he did back then. Lots of reflection on the past, especially in the wonderful Cabaretica, which takes a journey back into 1982, which is the year the Virgin Prunes debut came out. But my three favorites, love Sub-Zero, which is the opening song, which, as I mentioned, starts off kind of orchestral, and then it kicks into this dance beat, and it's so good. Number two, When the World Was Young, is absolutely beautiful, but my favorite is the aforementioned Cabaretica. Great track. If you're unfamiliar with Gavin Friday, check out the new album. It's called Ecce Homo. And then I want to close out by saying my absolute most listened to album this year came out in 2023, but I discovered it very early in 2024. And that is the album from Chappell Roan, her debut, which is most of you probably familiar because she really blew up over the second half of 2024. But this album is just so outstanding. And the track Good Luck Babe, which was a 2024 single that came out after this album, is probably my absolute favorite song of the year. So that's it for my top 10 list. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to leave me your thoughts on your favorite albums of 2024, and I look forward to reading your comments. Thanks for watching.